Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in a Fortnite video, and in today's video, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to improve, and also give you guys some very good tips on how to play smarter in Fortnite. I'm going to be telling you guys some of the strategies that I use, and some things that you guys can do as well that's super simple to do, that is going to help you guys win, and also help you guys win a lot more gunfights much easier in Fortnite. And real quick, before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday. So if you guys want to take part in this giveaway and a chance to win, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you guys do turn on those post notifications so you guys get notified for every single new video. And lastly, comment down below either your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account, and you guys will be automatically entered into the next giveaway. And also, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go down to the bottom, click on support a creator, type in my code. My creator code is Younghumor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I wanted to give you guys some very good tips on how to improve by playing much smarter in this game. I'm going to be showing you guys some things that I do that helps me out quite a bit when it comes to playing in different gunfights, helps me win more fights, and also helps me win a lot more games much easier in this game. So the one thing specifically I wanted to be focusing on this video is how to improve your positioning. Now, doing this is going to make a huge difference on your game. It's going to be the difference between maybe you having maybe like a 10% win rate and having like a 30% win rate. You're gonna be winning so many more games, so many more gunfights just by having really good positioning. And the thing that I like quite a bit about playing smarter in Fortnite, it's one of those things that you don't have to mechanically improve on, as for example like building and editing. When it comes to playing smarter, it's all to do with how you're playing, and you can improve on this very quickly by just keeping a few things in mind when you are approaching gunfights. So I want to give you guys a few examples of things you can do that are going to make a huge difference on your game and help you improve and play a lot smarter in Fortnite very quickly. So the very first example I want to show you guys on how to improve your positioning. Now this was in a solo squads. I was going up against 4 other players in this fight, and one thing I did specifically, of course I got a couple shots off at the beginning, but one thing I did, obviously I didn't have many mats, but even if I had materials, there's 2 things I could have done. I could either challenge from the left side, or I could have gone on top of this building and challenged from this angle. Now, it was so much smarter, and it was a very good idea to challenge from this angle, because the reason why I ran up inside of the building instead of going to the left, even if I had materials, because when you're on buildings are probably one of the most underrated things in this game when it comes to outplaying other players. And because I know a lot of you guys on my streams and my comments talk about getting minigun spam, you guys get just shot down, RPG'd, but when you play off of buildings, those things don't happen, because even if the other player had some RPGs or even a minigun and started spamming me, they aren't going to be able to just break down the entire building right away. It would take forever, and it's just something that's not going to happen in your games. So when you're playing against multiple players, even if you're playing in solos and you're running up against a guy who maybe has a minigun, staying close to buildings is going to be essential. You're going to be able to outplay other players much more easy, because you don't have to constantly worry about getting shot out, having your mats drained, and also with the clear advantage of also having high ground. Like in that example, I had high ground right away in that fight, because even if I had materials challenged from the left side, I would have gotten spammed just spammed, lost all my materials, and it would have been much harder to get off a shot versus going on top of the building and then challenging from that position. That made it so much easier to win the fight, and there's probably no other way I would have won against all those players if I didn't use that building to my advantage. And when it comes to your good positioning, it doesn't necessarily just have to be on top of buildings. You can also use other structures in the game, like for example in the agency. There's so many different walls that are extremely hard to break, and this is very important when you're going against multiple players, because if you're around walls that are very hard to break, more than likely you're only going to be getting challenged from maybe one angle. So if you had 3 walls around you in the agency and only 1 wall in front of you, and that's the wall you built, more than likely they're only going to be coming from that angle in front of you, because if they wanted to get around you or get behind you, they would have to break those walls that are extremely hard to break. So that's why you can really use buildings, and you can use those strong structures to your advantage and help you win gunfights much easier. And here is another example that I want to show you guys. When it comes to positioning, this is going to be a game changer. So for example, in this one, this happens pretty much every game. So this is something you can use every single game. It's not like an isolated thing that you can use only at like one time every other game. So for example, say if someone's maybe boxed up, say if they're on top of a building, or maybe they're boxed up from the angle in front of you and you want to go for a challenge on the other player. Now there's a couple things you can do. Obviously the first one, maybe you can just sit back, wait for the other player to try to make maybe a play on you, which most likely it doesn't happen if someone's camping on top of a building. They're just going to camp up there, so maybe you could just play slow, not challenge at all. But say you want to challenge this other player, the one thing that I try to do is to potentially predict where the other players may be shooting you from. So for example, say I'm at the agency and there's, the building in front of me, there's a player on top of it. More than likely, there's probably a player that could be rotating over from Salty Springs, meaning that's going to be rotating over that right side. Or maybe earlier during when I saw this player, I heard gunfight to the right. Or even easier, maybe I saw a player, there's someone camping on the right side over in this direction. So what you'd want to do if you're challenging the player in front of you is when you're challenging, you really don't, there's only one best way to challenge. So obviously if you wanted to, you could just double ramp rush up. Maybe you can single ramp up, but the problem with this is more than likely you're going to get shot down from the players to the right, because a lot of times whoever's rushing is the player that's going to get spammed at by everybody. So when you're rushing, you don't want to just challenge straight on, because then you're going to get shot from not only the player maybe in front of you in that high ground, or maybe the player over to the side who just rotate over from Salty Springs and then trying to get a beam on you when you're trying to ramp up. So that's not something you'd want to do. Instead, the best way to approach this fight and challenge the player that's in front of you, if there's someone to your right, is going to be challenging from the left side. So this way, say you challenge from the left side over here, it's going to be much more difficult for the player who was on that right side to even shoot you down. And on top of that, the player that's in the middle that you're trying to rush is now going to be in the middle, meaning that you can shoot them now from the left side, plus the guy on the right side could be shooting at him. So you're basically pinching the guy who's in the middle. So when you see a guy who's in front of you, you don't want to just rush straight on. If you think there might be a player to your left or right, what you'd want to do is, if you think a player is on the right, you want to challenge from the left side. But if you think a player is on the left side, then you want to challenge from the right side. That is going to be the best way and give you guys the best positioning possible when you are challenging these other players. And I know a lot of you guys struggle with maybe getting third-partied or pinched, and that is going to save you quite a bit from getting especially pinched, because all you have to do is just make sure when you're challenging the other player that you challenge from an angle where you think, and even if you don't see someone to that side, if you just even consider, if you even think that there might be someone maybe to the left or right side, then you want to challenge from that opposite angle. If you just think that someone's on the left side, then you want to challenge from that right side, and that is going to give you the best possible advantage, because it's going to give you a better possibility of not getting third-partied, and as well it's going to give you a better possibility of not getting pinched. Obviously, the other player maybe could build out and it could be different, but for the most part, you're not going to get pinched and it's going to be a win-win. And that's just a really clear example on how positioning really can be a make or break in between winning gunfights and not. Because if I were to challenge straight on to a lot of these players, what's going to happen is, as I'm going to get third-partied, I'm going to get pinched. And especially if you're playing against multiple players, so maybe your teammate went down, you're playing duos or squads and you have to fight off multiple people. If you're not having the best positioning possible, it's going to be even more difficult to fight these players. So those are going to be the main two things you guys want to do that is going to give you a huge advantage in this game. The first one being is using buildings to your advantage, because when you're around buildings, you're not going to get minigun spammed and RPG down the entire time. So that's going to be a really good advantage when you're playing against multiple people, or if you're just running up against someone who you know is going to spam you and be super annoying, that could be something to your advantage. And as well, you always want to make sure when you're challenging other players that you challenge from the best positioning possible. If you think there's someone to the right side of you, or if there is someone shooting to the right side of you, then you want to challenge from the left side. And if someone's shooting you from the left side, or if there is a player to the left side, then you want to challenge from the right side. That way you're not getting pinched or shot from all the different angles at the exact same time. So those are really the main things you guys want to do that I think is going to help you guys improve. And the number one thing I like about playing smarter is because it's not based on mechanical skill, because you could be the best mechanical player, but if you're getting shot up by, 4 different players all with scars, your chances of winning that gunfight are extremely low. So you have to make sure that not only are you mechanically good enough, like able to build and edit very fast, you also have to make sure that your positioning is very good. And the same could be said in the flip side. You could probably not be the best mechanical player, but if you play extremely smart and you have very good positioning, you're going to have a much easier time of winning gunfights and also winning games, even if you don't have the best accuracy or the best building in that fight. And that is something I I've used to my advantage for the longest time, and it's helped me outplay a lot of players who maybe are even better mechanically or even building at this game. And with that being said, that's a wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do smash that like button. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Make sure you guys do turn on post notifications so you guys get notified for every single new video. And as well, make sure you guys do come by my live streams. I live stream every single day on this channel at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys haven't watched my live streams or just forgot when I live stream, it's at 6 o'clock every single day on this channel. So make sure you guys do come by my live streams. It's a ton of fun. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching the video, and alright guys, I will see you next video.